So her question was with the child in this position, what to do. Now, the biggest thing is that what parents want to do is naturally to go back to a rocking.
Right.
And so that's the hardest thing to start saying, you know, watch, you don't even see my hands move. And so, again, my trajectory. So if I'm going up to your hands, then yeah, I want a direct hit, obviously, in here. I'm not gonna get the same if I was up here.
Right. And his hands, I mean, I don't know, they were not here. I mean, I don't know where kids would be, but they had
Well, he was
here.
playing with his dad, so he had a car up and down, he was doing stuff. But,
Okay. Would you still go towards where the hands are, or you're thinking in?
well, I'm still thinking extension. Now, if I had this child here, like, go grab a car, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My movements will automatically adjust to where a child's playing,
Uh-huh,
so I can get, that's where I'm quicker.
right.
You know, I'm giving you 15 different options, but a child, you can't sit there and go, oh, let me just do 15 times of this, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're playing with beads, so again, go to reach out, so I can rotate here
Right.
through the sit bone, or again, I can go this way, you know what I mean? I have greater movement vocabulary, so I can pull more tricks out of my, and I never second guess myself. Even if my hand the only time is if I touch breast tissue, I'll say, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But other than that, and you can tell that with touch. You know, I used to work with someone and she'd be like, oh, okay, right here. No, but who the hell wants to get felt up with that, you know?
Right.
Even if at the beginning, if I didn't know what I was doing, you'd never know by the way I had my hands. So her question was in coordinating, how to coordinate what to do with the pelvis. And like I was saying the other day, I sat there and listened to a knot talk one time. I swear it was 45 minutes to an hour. And all I did was, and my eyes never left her, and I listened, and you never saw so much my hands move. I mean, this is where I started perfecting, well, what can I really get away with? And I figured, well, I'm not getting paid, I'm not getting, you know, I mean, this is just playtime. If it didn't work out, oh well, it's like Thomas Edison, he found 1,000 different ways of not to do light bulb.
Well, even that look, well, I mean, I know I've trained whatever in this, but they just made a change in my chest, just that little bit.
Oh, I know, and not only that, but I just felt where it lifted through the strain in your knee just changed, for lack of a better words. So now see how I can rotate the heel just as nice as I can rotate to the sit bone. So when I say sit bone, I'm really dealing with the whole real estate here. I'm looking for that whole big, but I don't want it to seem like, again, that it's a plane when I say that. I'm looking for the whole function in and out and around that, but I'm looking for the volume, which is going to come more into play as you get more pregnant, and that's what dilation is. Your pelvic floor is going to open up, and you're really going to feel, excuse me for getting my hands so familiar, but that volume of movement come into play, and it's actually quite a nice sensation that you're never going to get again, which is, so it's nice when it goes, but at the same time, if you play with it to use it to your advantage, you'll really get to feel with it. I also tend to look at the whole pelvis here as like a fruit bowl. So at any time, I can just sit there and move goods around, you know what I mean? I can really, but see, my intention is to the knee and then back up to the top of your upper back and then to here and to come down, and that's your chest cavity going out. So I really, again, with my hands out, can play with a lot of real estate. If I was just in here in a tight rotation, I've got a flat hand on both sides. This is, my flat hand. Again, rotating both out, you still can go up the spine, but again, in a rotation to me is different now than this is what I was taught.
Right.
So see how much more with the knees, the shoulders. Now here I can reverse it. See how I can reverse in and I can reverse down. But again, this is you going down the steps. This is going up the stairs. This is going up the stairs. This is the stairs. This is up and down a step ladder if you're feeling it this way. So when you come back down a step ladder, your tush is gonna find the floor for it. And then back up. This is going in the car, and this is going out of the car. So it's the same thing. But to go out of the car, this is where it comes into play. So I'm here, and I'm just out of the car. My foot will rotate, turn the knee, turn the hip. That whole sequencing needs to happen. And if you don't believe me, curl your toes and try to get out of that car today.
Can I try now, just to see?
Yeah. So see how I can't see, the tush and the heel are moving differently.
Right.
So let the toes go. Feel again that much more of a tango, that dance. And this is a difference. I don't know if you dance much with partners or if you were singles, but when that person's just a little bit off from where you are, when you're both learning, and again, you don't have that sequencing together, you're not pretty. Even if it's a bunch of just different ballerinas on stage with you doing the same thing, like in the Nutcracker and stuff, where you've got the Trooper and Swan Lake or that kind of thing, you have much more where everyone has to be in that tandem. And you think it's easier to look good with all those people around, it's actually easier to look bad. And you really see it like with karate too.
Right, yeah, sure. Well, that's a dance, right?
Right. But it's amazing to me, and that's what made me think more. You tell everybody to do a center punch, and you get 20 different versions of a center punch. How hard is it to hit a solar plexus? So now, like I did before, I'm going to come underneath the heel. Now again, notice I never left the pelvis. I'm going to do it again without my hand here. I'm going to come underneath your heel.
Yeah.
Feel the difference of intent?
Kind of like, well, where is that hand?
Feel the difference. See how I'm just lightly lifting your tush too as I do it, versus, let's say if I did this, hand here, and then came here.
So you're beginning to go into rotation.
So I'm just kind of inviting myself in. The only time I really ask for help, this is a real hard move because the skin's just,
Right.
I'll ask for, if you can come underneath me. Now in this position, my elbow is on my knee. My knee is all the way in here because if I don't have my knee here, it is very hard for me to lift a grown adult. I need that leverage point for myself. So again, my fingers are right underneath. I'm looking for that rotation. Now there's two ways of rotating, and I'm going to just over-exaggerate for the camera. There's this way that I rotate, and this feels like that. So see how that's able to glide the femur and the hip back. Or I can rotate more this way, where I'm pulling on, so my intention is much more through George and then back through to your tailbone. This is, again, looking more, getting into the booth, getting into your car, rolling up from sitting. But most people look at that as a joint. So what I did two different things. I went down here, grabbed the knee, and again, pushed in, went forward, and again my rotation is more so through the hand here, that's pushing through. I'm rotating, but I can do that up the whole thigh. But see too how much your sit bone, pelvis is all involved in that movement. Again, if I had my arm up, completely different movement. Versus my arm sliding with your femur. This is a lot like the movement that you do basic, you extend the arms and just slide them on top of each other. Now if I wanted to do the reverse of that movement, I'd actually bring my whole body. Sorry, I'm thinking more on the fly just to incorporate, because I said that. I'm going to come here. My whole hand is going to be on the femur. Then I can come here, or actually more around George, and feel gliding back. I like that much nicer versus this. Again, this is a movement, you're gonna get results. But see, because I have to bring George in,
Right.
or again, this is what I was doing yesterday, where I can come in now and do it more here. But again, I'm using my elbow, my whole body versus just here, trying to lift. And that lift in that pose with the baby is much more of a threat. I'm just trying to lift your baby versus to coax you into a movement. And then I just go back and just see if this got any different. So again, I'm gonna go back down to where the foot was. We were taught much more like a gun. Gun in the holster, that kind of movement. But when I do something like this, in a lot of ways, it's almost like an AFO. I've already so committed my hand and my elbow. It's very hard for me, I found, in this position to twist a foot. It's much better off if I was directly underneath your foot in this way to work it. But even that still restricts to me rotation or to implement. Maybe because I'm not a gun person, could be psycho. So if I come here now, just to just where the heel bone is, now I can do a couple of little test rides or Gucci goos if I wanted to. But this is just my intention. So I go back here to the pelvis. So I'm really in the hip joint, my hand, real estate, it's all around the trochanter, base of the femur, all the way up just about to the iliac crest, or getting up to the top. And I'm actually twisting, so it's a light twist to the heel, up to the wrist. Now, in this purpose, I'm going to leave you alone, real quickly come up to your wrist, just to show you, don't move, just by saying, hello, I'd like a little participation. I'm literally just going to rotate your elbow. Again, minor stuff. I'm hardly going to be here for a second. Just that. Feel the difference. This is the stuff times two where it's like, damn. And now feel. Do you notice a difference just from? Now I could have done that from several points. I could have done that a little bit with your shoulder, wrist. I mean, it just didn't have to be there. We were taught more to like tighten your hand right now and to do it this way. Right. And now let the hand go. And that will also to soften the chest or engage areas as well. But George was happy with that move.
Yeah. And are you still, in some way, are you still thinking of bringing the knee back towards, like, I guess, the left foot, like, or?
The backwards here is more this.
Right.
So I'm going to continue again my intent through the hip this way, but now this time I'm going to rotate backwards, but again with that pull, very similar pull that I did with you on your back. What?
My legs feel really sticky to each other.
If you want, I can put a towel in between them with that.
It's okay. I you know, if you.
Oh yeah, no, but you can still feel the tonus is there.
Okay.
So now if I wanted to over-exaggerate a really nice move, I won't go into it, but I'll just show you the beginnings. I have done it on video, so it's available. I have my little sticky pad here. I come here, come around the knee, and just feel how bringing the foot to the floor this way. So what I'm doing, this is a Marco. Now notice, okay, I did it a couple of times just to get you familiar with my lift. Now watch me push in bear weight,
Okay.
and come back. And bear weight. Feels a lift change now in the knee, and the leg. And now pushing in again. Again, there's going to be a little bit of slide because your foot doesn't know what to do. So once I get a little bit in there, I can come back. Notice I'm not here placing the foot per se, I'm more here on the shin. Just having you feel the foot come to the pad. Now this is typical Feldy, how we move the foot around, but I'm looking to see where you are happy. And this is where it's a little bit awkward because the way what happened with the toe and everything with the shoes.
Yeah.
But right there, feel it?
Yeah.
Feel how the heel's coming? And this is, and now see the pelvis.
Yeah.
And the hip, everything come back. This is a really nice, and now I can transfer back to the hip and then over to the foot.
Right. Right. Well, and it's interesting because when you talk,
And I can bring this up to standing eventually,
okay.
when I talk with
Well, I'm like, I realize my attention is focused somewhere, and then you talk, and I go, oh, okay, I'll go ahead and think about that area.
Right.
And then it changes.
Yeah.
What's possible.
But I'm still not new agey with it. Like feel the way, and you breathe, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm more like New Yorker. This is cool, look at that. I think a true New Yorker can handle ADD. Wow, that's cool, look at that, check this out, we're gonna go there, okay. See you too, alright, bye. So this padding is quite nice.
Yeah.
Now, if I wanted to, same thing I was just doing with Abel, coming up, and see, I can do that. Now I'm going right through the heel and rotate.
And you're rotating.
Down towards the back.
Oh, yeah.
But again, notice I'm not looking for anything to happen. I'm just looking to see how structured you are in these sequences. But see, because the toe has been changed, and also the back of the foot, which again, this is where we're at, it's not a complaint. But see, I can bring and have you work on these movements again, which have been pretty forced in your life for a while.
Right.
So see how I'm twisting that heel. I'm elongating the heel to look for the floor versus just everything going through the toe.
Right.
But trust me, a kid with CP could use this too because they're not playing with these movements. But look at that now. See? Now I'm in finally.
Yeah.
So when I said I'm in,
Right.
I can come. Sorry, that wasn't graceful. No. See how even I need to, see now I'm going too fast. I still don't have a nice leverage point off of your thigh. So I wouldn't do the movement. I could do it and show you, I mean you're Feldy, so I'm not worried about it, but if you were a client, I'm not going there. And that's where, again, I don't believe in that we do all these grandiose movements, I think way too fast.
Right.
Or it's just not necessary.
Right.
So again, feel coming back. Now I'm going into where that femur showed up. So I'm going to go back to the heel, and now I'm on the mid femur, and just feel me lightly twisting the whole leg through the foot, sorry.
Like asking my sit bones to spread wider.
Well, that's, you let me know if that's too much on George.
No, I mean,
Okay.
it's
Yeah, well, I don't need to go into, have him go into early dilation either from all this pelvic stimuli in 2 hours. So. We'll have to eat lunch lying down.
Yeah.
This, for whatever reason, I feel like it's a spot I need to hang out on.
Yeah.
Bringing it back down. But see now, though,
Yeah.
boop, 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 real easy. Now, did you need me to do this in sitting with you to show you?
Yeah.
Or are you cool with that? I mean, that,
That's what you've been doing. Actually, my only question with that is that, because, you know, sometimes I'll have a hand here or there or
Right.
whatever. And are you initiating with one and following with the other? Is it more, and sometimes you'll do it both, you alternate, or do you hold and then you
I never want it to seem like it's 1, 2, 3 next, 1, 2, 3 next. It's like a plant struggling to come up, you know, sometimes a leaf will be opening up here and then the flower bud will start to come up here. Again, that's probably new agey, again, I'm just looking for visualization. But I just, my whole objective is to stabilize the vestibular.
Right.
See, again, I'm leaning in, I've got my arm here, I've got my hand hold here. Such a difference between doing that and this. So this is a fine move, and trust me, I use it, but this is completely different. This I'm into the diaphragm, the chest cavity, so it all depends what my objectives are. If I've got someone that's just been rotted, you know, I might have to just sit there and go. But this one, I think, is a really nice move that I was doing before. I don't have the camera in the wrong,
Right, with the pole palm on the, that was very nice.
but I do it here. But that really right there spreads that sucker. It's wonderful that for that side joint, all of that, then come back here. But I always, like I said, my main thing is somewhere I have a hand, either here or here before I let off. I don't necessarily, and if I do, I say I'm coming up to your wrist or.
And then you play on the sit bone in different, like on the side and then on the back of the sit bone, it seems like.
Well, yeah, because you might have a wallet in your pocket and shift here, or you're gonna hit a stone. We don't walk around on flat surfaces and, you know, or you're gonna put heels on, so your pelvis is gonna be more in this predicament versus if you're in flip-flops, you're down here. So your pelvis has to know how to move at any time versus putting heels on and all of a sudden it's like, oh, now what do I do? And this is where I go back to, I have no idea what I just did to you, you know, that way.
Right.
But I had a 68-year-old woman that was a preemie, and I touched her ass, and I was like, good God, what the heck, you know, and I'm like, and I started doing this kind of movement, and she goes, that movement's very unfamiliar to me. Now, has a doctorate, she's becoming a yoga master at her age, and whatever, she wants to retire and teach yoga. And she goes, that move's very unfamiliar to me. I said, it's called rolling. To change from this side to the other in bed in the middle of the night, she has to sit up and move over. She didn't know how to roll from one side to the other because she was premature and she basically was left to die, and she didn't die. So they raised her. She's born on a farm. I cannot believe she's done what she has with her life with such limited movement that she had in that tush. But she almost got hit by a car the other day, and she's like, I'm so excited I can jump. She goes, I almost got hit, and out of nowhere, I just jumped out of the way. And she's like, I've never jumped in my life, you know, she just didn't. So she was all, and she goes, and even some guy saw me, and she goes, I can't believe you move so fast at your age. And she goes, I just can't believe I jumped. So. But also, hopefully, you really see just how gentle you can get and how profound the changes can be.
Well, so that's another question. So, I mean, I feel how gentle, you know, your hands are. But if you get someone in here that hasn't had much work, or, I mean, are you constantly changing the pressure with some people?
You have to. I mean, if you're 6'8" right now, I'd be coming into your pelvis like this.
Right.
I'm not pokey, but I certainly know how to drive it home if I had to.
Right.
However, I'll be like this on a lot of people too, and they'll go, you know, you can go harder if you want to. I'm like, that's not what you're here for. You know, I really have to convince them otherwise, but.
Right.
I have a big boy, and you'll see that today at 4 o'clock. He's not big, but he's like 6 footish. He's got some meat to him. He's out of money, and he still has to be a handyman, and he's 79. So he has to go under sinks and all that sort of stuff. So he can't always afford me, but at the same time, he's like, I can still work because of you. So you see people at Walmart and they have their carpal tunnel braces on and all that, and I'm like, I hope you're here because you need to be busy and not because you have to. I don't want to keep working on your pelvis because you're pregnant, but you still have your 20 minutes left. I don't know if you want to trial that on me, or I can work on your hands or something else. I mean, I still can do a lot to your body.
I'd like to try some. Is there anything, I don't know, is there anything that, what would you do? We worked on the hands, right? Or no?
The cutest thing I like her say, and she goes, oh, and just so you know, I'm expecting a miracle. So now, here's where I'm going to have a conversation. Now, I could take this 50 different ways. One of the things I like to look at in the wrist is how supple the wrist, very similar to the shoulder going forward and backwards like this, is how the wrist can come up and down, because that's extension through the hand. So the extension through the hand is, or just because it's habitual. Now, it could be because you're a ballerina, but it also could be whatever. You could have swelling because of George. This is where, I don't care. Be all the above or none of the above. You know, again, your mom could have dropped you. You will drop George. I'm sorry, whatever. So see how I can't, and feel
I can feel it.
that leverage point and the transfer just from here to here it's not fluid. That's where, I mean, I don't know what's going on. You're 85% to 75% to 85% liquid. You should actually have that flow. And I can feel when it's not working. Even when I got just the width of my finger underneath that. So that's where I just go. Now this is, again, I'm getting to a point, if you've just met me and I try and explain it to you, you're like, I don't know, so I'm really meaning that my wrist is really stiff. So notice I don't keep lifting up and down. I start rotating a little bit to the right. Again, same thing I do at the heel. You'll see just that little bit of extension. Let's translate some careful. Yeah. See? Now run up the fingers. Do you feel it? So going back, feel it comes from the shoulder, rotates through the elbow, up to the wrist, then up the fingers. Now is it grandiose? No. That's the sequence I like to see in kids. Even if it's just for a second, because most of our kids, and you'll see that again now when we go back and work, they just don't have it. So even if it gets experience just for a little bit. See now already, now the chest cavity is starting to rotate just from there. Feel coming over just that little bit on through your chest.
Subtle.
It's subtle, but at least it's talking to it. That's, again, I'm not looking for Big Ben. But now I know the difference. Now you can feel the tension in the elbow. So all I'm going to do is the reverse on the rotation. I'm going to go up, just like through the heels. Feel the rotation going up. Feel that? So it's just, all I'm doing is rotating. As the one finger's coming down, this is going up. So as that's happening, I'm rotating the hand down. And notice George is very happy with all of this. See, he just gets nice and like, oh, this is good. doing, rotating this way towards the pelvis, and same thing to this. But I'm doing a slight lift, and then coming back down. And this is the beginnings of presenting your weight. So I'm bringing your weight onto, now notice I'm not, you're palm into palm, I didn't fix your hands. Because you have it nice on your elbows. If you had more girth to you, or for whatever reason your shoulder was more engaged, I put the ball underneath or something. I like the ball because the ball,
The egg.
yeah. So now I'm just gonna go back. See now how I can float the elbow. So I haven't even done the hand yet. Now I'm going to come over and see how the hand lifts off the wrist. So in this position, see now the wrist doesn't want to go up again.
Right.
So in this position to go back, feel the difference. And then in this position, I don't know. So first I'm just going to go into, but see I already have the elbow engaged. So the elbow is doing the work of me twisting, even though
Your elbow, my elbow.
your elbow. See, I've already done this. So see as I'm working on this, see how your arm is available.
Yes.
Right, because I've already covered this part.
Right.
Had I not, then I'd have to deal, look at the weight I now have with the hand. Why I hold this and go here.
Right.
Versus if I'm here.
Right.
Just more advantageous. Again, subtle stuff, but why should I work harder? So right there, feel how you don't want to. Feel the extension here. Versus here.
Yep.
So back to this. Go where you're successful. Again, it might seem it, but I'm not pulling your fingers. I mean, again, we were taught more here. I'm looking for the tonus change, that extension, how you are in gravity, how the wrist is floating up and down. And I move my fingers a little bit up. Feel the difference? So feel the difference here. Just coming back to here. So now I'm going to rotate versus why keep going up and down? It didn't work. And don't get me wrong, everyone's fallen down and jammed their stupid wrist. It's not rocket science. Yes, some people could have broken. I don't feel you've ever broken your wrist, but I still think with what you went through, you guarded your hands.
You fall a lot.
Yeah.
And then you also shape the hands.
Not only do you fall a lot, but you have to go back to work at a very young age where you hurt. It's not, you can say I'm taking the day off. Then you get from parents going, but I'm spent all this money. You're not good enough to dance, and then your coach is yelling at you. Now see? Until drop.
Yeah, the dropping thing.
So now at this point, I have a drop and the thumb is now exposed.
Right.
Notice the difference here, trying to work on the thumb versus here.
Right.
Again, I have you have even into the palm. I'm not like this.
Right.
For the difference
Right. Which is.
versus just this. I'm not looking to put any of the fingers up and down. I'm not, there we go. I'm just looking for first how there should be a tandem. And then there, a little bit of individuality. I'm just looking for the extension of the thumb. But now you really should feel the changes in the upper vertebrae going on and the rib cage. Feel that when I rotate the thumb, how much the upper ribs need to participate. And if that's not clear with someone, really easy just to come here, still holding the hand. Again, just this minor, I rotate the wrist. Or I can go in for something bigger, but I'm still rotating the wrist at the same time.
Right.
it's a nice time too to bring the rib cage up to allow that space of the breath.
Yeah, that was nice when you did that.
Yeah, especially again with the pregnancy. And then just go back to see. Yeah, so much nicer.
Yeah, well,
There. Now you have infinity. This is what I look for.
Right.
Circle back, circle here, just a degree with the infinity. I can do through the whole hand, much faster. See how there, extension, rotation, all of that stuff when you do this infinity roll. And then I do it through each finger. You hardly notice me doing that.
right, yeah.
Now if you were playing piano, feel how now too with the kids, again, I'm not separating the hands just yet. So feel this lift and see how I can work now with the fingers on the table. Feel the extension. See now I can bring the wrist back and the fingers want to stay and allow that extension to happen. Very much like running the artificial floor for the foot.
Right.
But see how much you need the wrist to have these qualities? So if you don't believe me, curl your right toe. Feel the difference? See, I can't pull you off the table. I don't have that transfer of weight as nicely, so to uncurl your toes. And then see the difference, how I can.
Right.
And if I wanted to, because the fingertips are so sensitive, or because again, like you're a practitioner, it's a really nice time to start. Again, same thing. I'm seeing how each finger lifts and then extends through the wrist. Do you feel that?
Uh-huh.
Versus just this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, not even that. I mean, you're talking to the chest.
Right. And again, this is where I put variation. I'm not trying to put the hand in a perfect position. Your feet are there. I don't have your belly all propped. I mean, I could, depending on the person. Now, I don't have a nice place to get your pinky. I either come underneath here. Again, I want to hold. And same thing where I can come in and lift. And I can do this for all the fingers this way as well. See how I'm lifting, extending. See how they're like that tension is just enough where I'm pulling,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
Right.
Here, I can do it this way. Feel the difference with I pull?
Right.
But see, it limits the mobility of the finger. But here, if I just use my tension, or I can get here if I want to. I'm more into than pulling the fingers.
Right.
And then again, see it. There we go. Now I can feel the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now look at what I can do to your whole back.
Right.
I didn't even work on it. You know what I mean? But you're.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do the other side quickly and even you out? Or you want to lay on your back and feel it?
So do you find that the kids let you do this handy work?
Don't always, but that's why I love when they fall asleep, or I can get them when they're calm.
Uh-huh.
But I think you can see, even Marco could be a lot more, he's calming down a lot. I think by next week, like, or whatever,
Yeah.
that I could get away with in something like that. But
Yeah.
it all depends. But at the same time, he needs so much done on the spinal column to do this kind of stuff. It's almost like going to college already.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
he's not going to get fine motor skills unless he has better gross motor skills.
Right. Right.
Or as an aunt used to say, you can't play, Beethoven with your butt. That's you can't put fine motor skills through gross motor skills, or they're
Right.
separated for a reason.
Right.
But just to show you, to play with you, see
Yeah.
that transfer of weight is just not there. All you're getting is like an elbow
But it's-
versus
But it's better than this side was originally.
right. But can you feel the difference between this
Yes.
side and the other?
Yes.
And then also too, if I shove back, see how
Yeah.
the shoulder doesn't know where to go with it, all of
Yeah.
this. So again, I'm just coming in. I can't get you past here. And if I can't get you past here, I'm not.
You're not gonna lift the arm.
But also too, feel how much You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're so concerned about the strain through the shoulder that I'm already losing the lesson.
Yeah.
Now here already is different. Feel the elbow and how the elbow does not know how to transfer that movement. So if I feel the difference? The shoulder's trying to do it versus the elbow. So I'm going to come back here. Now I need to somehow do the movement. I'm not going to be able to, but at least I'll activate. Very similar that I was working with the legs and the heel. See how I come back underneath the elbow? I'm pushing through in that light rotation. Now if I wanted to do, again, I can do a little bit like this. I felt I had good contact here, so I'm going to hang out a little bit longer. See, that slides. Much better contact, feel the difference. But they're all fine touches. Still, there's more bone in here that's not playing nicely. There we go. And this is where, like I said, on the Sherlock Holmes, especially hands and feet, I've just seen too much crap that doctors have done to wrists and ankles and feet, what doctors have done to my damn feet. Thank God my mom at least finally had half a brain when it said no to artificial arches that they wanted to put in. To those big foot specialists in New York.
Artificial arches in your feet?
Yeah, they don't do the surgery anymore. You want to know why? Then I would have been a Feldenkrais, you know, user for, if I'd known. See, I can't twist.
Yeah.
Just to show you the difference, even in this position.
Yeah.
This is my argument with the babies. You should be, in a baby, you should be able to feel this rotation in any orifice of their body. And when you don't, and when humans like this, they're either in big pain or they just can't do the movement. But notice, this is when I get down to the decimals. There we go. Whoops, but see, rotating over the wrist. Didn't take much. So much better. I'm going a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And here's a prime example, you know, I vary the rotations, but that rotation is there no matter how I go about it. But you don't see me usually do this too much.
Yeah.
Even if it's subtle. Now my right hand is not doing as much of a movement as my left, but I'm still incorporating. Now this is where you have a problem right there, just coming over your chest.
Yep.
So if you were dancing, this movement on this side would be different.
Right.
Because when I pull you, your chest is kind of going, alright, sure, it's moving stuff. And again, do you need that movement for the rest of your life? No, probably not, but if you're going to do the nutcracker, you would.
Especially when you're doing the Chinese dancers, when they're doing the so funny.
It's a weird quirk on my phone that sometimes when I press a button, it just starts playing Nutcracker. So, driving through the desert, looking at the mountains and the cactus, and listening to Nutcracker.
What I like about the Nutcracker, since I'm such a visualizer, that was just the one ballet that you just know. Like, I might not know it by perfection, but you know when the Johnny Mouse is out, you know when the Chinese dancer's out, you know, the Russian.
The music is so beautiful.
There we go. See? And again, I'm just doing quickies here, so it won't be the same, but still. Just I feel that.